India, once celebrated as a vibrant democracy and a rising global power, now finds itself at a critical juncture. The country's credibility, both domestically and internationally, is under intense scrutiny. From economic stagnation to deepening social divides, rising prejudice and questionable foreign policy decisions, India seems to be losing its way. The nation's self-dignity is eroding, and the media landscape, once a pillar of democracy, is increasingly seen as a tool for propaganda rather than credible reporting. Let's delve deeper into the challenges India faces today and explore why these issues demand urgent attention, not just for the nation's future, but for its global standing and internal cohesion. Despite lofty promises of growth and development, India's economic trajectory has been underwhelming. The country has not seen the transformative growth that was expected, especially in the post-pandemic era. While GDP figures occasionally paint a rosy picture, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Unemployment remains a pressing issue, with millions of young Indians struggling to find meaningful work. The rural economy is in distress, with farmers facing mounting debts and declining incomes. The informal sector, which employs a significant portion of the workforce, has been hit hard by economic shocks, leaving many vulnerable to poverty. The divide between the rich and the poor is widening at an alarming rate. While a small elite thrives, the majority of the population is left behind, exacerbating class divides and fueling discontent. Wealth inequality has reached staggering levels, with a handful of billionaires controlling a disproportionate share of the nation's wealth. This economic disparity not only undermines social stability, but also hampers India's potential to become a truly inclusive and equitable society. India's social fabric, long celebrated for its diversity and resilience, is unraveling. Prejudice and discrimination are on the rise, with marginalized communities bearing the brunt of systemic inequality. Recent incidents of violence and discrimination against Dalits, tribal communities, and religious minorities have exposed the deep fissures in Indian society. The growing tensions with the Muslim community, fueled by divisive rhetoric and policies, have further exacerbated these fault lines. India's multicultural identity is also being tested on the global stage. Recent clashes between Indian citizens and African nationals have drawn international criticism, tarnishing India's image as a welcoming and inclusive nation. These incidents raise questions about the government's ability to foster unity and harmony in a society increasingly divided along religious, caste, and ethnic lines. India's foreign policy decisions have also come under scrutiny. The country's unwavering support for Israel, particularly in the context of the Israel-Palestine conflict, has sparked debates both domestically and internationally. While foreign policy decisions are complex and often driven by geopolitical considerations, many argue that India's stance contradicts its historical support for Palestinian rights and its role as a leader in the global South. This shift has led to accusations of India losing its moral compass and self-dignity on the global stage. Historically, India positioned itself as a champion of anti-colonial struggles and a voice for the global South. However, its recent alignment with powerful nations at the expense of its traditional allies has raised concerns about its commitment to its founding principles. A free and impartial press is the cornerstone of any democracy. However, in India, the media landscape has become increasingly polarized and controlled. News outlets are often accused of peddling propaganda rather than reporting facts. Critical voices are silenced and dissenting opinions are sidelined. This erosion of media credibility not only undermines public trust, but also weakens the foundations of democracy. Citizens are left questioning the authenticity of the information they receive, making informed decision-making almost impossible. The role of the media as a watchdog of democracy has been compromised, with many outlets prioritizing sensationalism and partisanship over truth and accountability. This trend has serious implications for India's democratic institutions and its ability to hold those in power accountable. India's challenges are multifaceted, but they are not insurmountable. To reclaim its credibility and dignity, India must address these issues head-on with a sense of urgency and purpose. Economic reforms with equity. The government must focus on inclusive growth, ensuring that economic policies benefit all sections of society. Bridging the class divide should be a top priority, with targeted interventions to support the rural economy, small businesses, and the informal sector. Social harmony and justice efforts to combat prejudice and discrimination must be intensified. Dialogue, education, and policy interventions are essential to heal societal divisions and restore trust among communities. Balanced foreign policy. India must re-evaluate its foreign policy decisions, ensuring they align with its historical values and global responsibilities. A nuanced approach that balances strategic interests with moral principles is crucial for maintaining India's credibility on the world stage. Restoring media integrity. A free and impartial press is the cornerstone of any democracy. However, in India, the media landscape has become increasingly polarized and controlled. News outlets are often accused of peddling propaganda rather than reporting facts. Critical voices are silenced and dissenting opinions are sidelined. This erosion of media credibility not only undermines public trust but also weakens the foundations of democracy.